Hello students, welcome to first chapter, lecture 4. In this lecture, we will study various types of stresses, torsional shear stress, crushing stress, bearing stress or a bearing pressure, differentiate between crushing and bearing stress and principal stresses. So one by one, let us see all types of stresses in detail. So students, what is meaning of torsional shear stress? When two equal and opposite couple will act on any component, then we can say twisting moment will occur. We call it as a torsion also. And that twisting moment will induce a stress in the component, and that stress is known as torsional shear stress. So we have considered a component over here with diameter D. Length of the component is L. It is subjected to a twisting moment T. And we can see that it is subjected to torsional shear stress. We can see here that torsional shear stress at neutral axis is 0 and it is maximum at the outermost fibers. Students, we will see now equation of a torsional shear stress. This we have studied in our prior subjects. This is equation of torsion. T by J is equal to tau by R is equal to G theta by L, where T is the twisting moment, which is a torque applied on a component and unit is Newton mm. J is a polar moment of inertia, which is Ixx plus Iyy. For a circular shaft, it is pi by 32 d raised to 4. G is modulus of rigidity, which is the ratio of shear stress to shear strain. It is also known as shear modulus. Its unit is Newton per mm square. Unit of polar moment of inertia is mm raised to 4. Theta is angle of twist and it is in radians. L is the length of the component and tau is the torsional shear stress, which will be in Newton per mm square. So this tau is the torsional shear stress and we will be using formula T is equal to pi by 16 tau d cube, and then we'll find diameter of the shaft, and that is based on torsion. Next, we will see crushing stress. So students, what is a crushing stress? So to understand the crushing stress, let us consider that there are two plates which are connected by a rivet, and two plates are subjected to external load and they're trying to get separated. When they are trying to get separated, on the contact surface of the rivet and plate, this is a plate and this is a rivet, at the contact surface, some compressive stress will develop. You can see here at this contact compressive stress will develop, and that localized compressive stress is known as a crushing stress when two parts which are in contact have no relative motion with respect to each other. Relative motion means one is moving with respect to other is a relative motion. But here, when there is no relative motion between the two elements in contact and there is a localized compressive stress, that stress is known as crushing stress. So students, you can see here, whenever we talk about the crushing stress, we'll be taking it as load upon projected area of contact. So here, we will take a contact of rivet in one plate only. So contact area we can see here from the 3D diagram is diameter of the rivet into thickness of the plate. That is for one rivet. If there are such n number of rivets, then the formula will become P upon W upon D into T into N. So that is the formula for crushing stress. Now we will see bearing pressure or a bearing stress. Even crushing also sometimes people call it as a bearing stress. But there is a slight difference between bearing pressure. and crushing stress. When two elements are having relative motion with respect to each other, relative motion with respect to each other, like a shaft is rotating in a bearing, correct? At that time, whatever localized compressive stress developed at the contact surface, that stress is known as a bearing pressure. So commonly we see this bearing pressure in the pins of the levers, bearings, crank pins, clutch linings, etc. So we will see a figure which is there. In that figure, there is a shaft which is rotating in a bearing. Shaft is also known as a journal. We can see that whenever there is a bearing pressure, you can see pressure distribution is not uniform, correct? Pressure distribution will not be uniform, and that pressure distribution depends on the surfaces in contact, and it also depends on the deformation characteristic of the material. When we talk about a bearing pressure, again the formula of bearing pressure is same as the crushing stress. Here also we need to take projected area of contact, correct? So this is the diameter of the shaft. This is the length of bearing in which shaft is in contact. So formula is force upon projected area. Over here you can see from this 3D diagram that area is diameter into length. So students, we will see here what is the difference between crushing and bearing stress. Crushing stress, there are two components which are in contact with each other. Here also there are two components which are in contact with each other. But here in bearing pressure, there can be a small lubricating film also. In case of crushing over here, there is no relative motion between the two meeting elements. In case of bearing pressure, there is a relative motion between the two meeting elements. We will see its examples. Cotter inserted in a rectangular slot. Rivet, I saw you right now example rivet in a riveted joint. Here examples are knuckle pin inserted in a circular hole, crank pin in bearing, and fulcrum pin. Whenever we will see lever, there will be a fulcrum pin which will be subjected to bearing pressure. So students, next is the principal stresses and plane. So far we have discussed about the direct tensile stress, compressive stress, and shear stress. So their line of action of the force for tensile and compressive, area of failure is perpendicular to the line of action of the force. But now we will observe a component which will be subjected to three mutually perpendicular planes. All forces are acting in all three directions and no shear stresses are acting on that component. So here there will be a plane on which only normal stresses are acting, no shear stresses are acting. That plane is known as principal plane, and the plane on which only normal stresses are acting, no shear stresses, those stresses on the principal plane are known as principal stresses. Whenever there are principal stresses, it has two extreme values. One is the larger and one is the smaller value. The largest of that is known as the maximum normal stress, that is major principal stress, and the lower value is known as minor principal stress. So principal stress is the maximum stress a body can have at some point, and it purely represents the normal stress. So students, you can see here in this diagram, we have two mutually perpendicular stresses in X and Y plane, that is sigma 1 and sigma 2, which is here also accompanied by transverse shear stress, correct? And here this is only having a one directional normal stress along with the transverse shear stress. I was telling you about the major and minor principal stress. So students, this is the formula of major principal stress where there is a plus sign in between. It's the formula of major principal stress. And if there is a minus sign in between in this formula, then it is minor principal stress, minus sign. So sigma 1 is for major and sigma 2 is for minor. This is maximum shear formula, maximum shear stress value, and this is the formula for the plane of major principal stress with respect to horizontal plane. So where this principal stress theory will be applicable? There are many cases in our syllabus or maybe day-to-day design cases where this theory will be applicable, like design of propeller shaft, C-frame, where there are direct tensile and compressive stress along with the shear stress. There is a combination of a bending along with the torsional shear. For example, design of propeller shaft. So shafts like crankshafts are subjected to simultaneously torsion and bending. Whenever there is a tension shear, compression shear, bending shear, then we have, because there is a combination, we have to use this maximum principal stresses, and the formula of maximum principal stresses, which we will be using in further our chapters, this is maximum tensile stress formula. Sigma T max is equal to sigma T by 2 plus half under root sigma T square plus 4 tau square. This is formula similarly for maximum compressive stress. If instead of sigma C we are writing sigma B, then it becomes a formula of maximum bending stress. And this is the formula of maximum shear stress. So students, I hope you have enjoyed. We have discussed today torsional shear stress, crushing stress, bearing stress and bearing pressure, and principal stresses. Thank you very much. Next lecture, we will see remaining topics. Okay, thank you.